Hello, welcome back to my YouTube channel, and this is Roja. And for those of you who are seeing me for the first time, if you subscribe this channel, you know the videos I have released, and you'll get an introduction about me as well. In my previous video, I have discussed about the introduction part of psychology, historical aspects, definition of psychology, and branches of psychology. And now in this video I would like to discuss about significance of psychology in nursing. As a nurse, we come across different patients with different types of behaviors, and we, being as a nurse in this profession, we need to interact with many other professionals as well. So we need to have good communication skills as well as understanding behavior of different individuals. And we need to first acknowledge that each individual behavior is different and each individual is different. Coming to significance of psychology in nursing, understanding the psychology of patient. When we use this word psychology, it means behavior of a patient. Having this understanding, we will be able to communicate with the patient in a better way and help them come out of their psychological stress or trauma what they're going through. And as we all have an understanding that there is a relationship between body, mind, and spirit, and these relationships are interdependent, and if one is affected, the other aspect is also affected. As we said, like at times mental illnesses causes physical illnesses, and physical illnesses cause mental illnesses as well. So having an understanding about psychology will help us to know the importance of this body mind relationship as well as understanding the behavior of an individual in a better way and help them to come out of their psychological trauma and what are the different methods where what we can use and apply. Now coming to learning of psychology, there are some points which are mentioned here. Anyway, we are going to just go through them in detail as well to understand her own self. We as a human, we also have our own weaknesses, strengths, we have our own way of acting out or behaving differently in different situations. So we need to have an understanding about ourselves, and if we learn regarding psychology, we will have that. Understand the patient, to understand the patient, their behaviors, to recognize abnormal behavior, to understand other people, to provide quality care to the patient, help patient adjust to situation, help student nurse to the necessity for changing the environment or surroundings, help for effective studying, then readjustment. We will just go through each one of them in detail to understand her own self. Help the nurse to get an insight into her own motives, desires, emotions, feelings, attitude, personal characteristics, ambitions, and to solve her own problems. Help her to understand her own strengths and weaknesses, as I have already mentioned. It will develop good personality characteristics to carry out her own responsibilities, perform her duties effectively and efficiently, enabling her to control the situations and attain self-discipline. So, having an understanding about psychology will help you to understand what you are, how you behave, how to improve yourself, how to cope up with different situations, how to just change or modify your behavior according to the situation, how to stay with a stable mind when you face some situations with lot of crisis or stress. Next, coming to understanding patient's behavior. So, as we said, each individual is unique. With this knowledge of psychology, understanding of psychology, it's not only about you. You will be able to understand other person's motives, attitudes, perceptions, and their personality, how to approach the patient, how to help and guide the patient or support the patient to just improve his health condition physically as well as mentally. Recognize abnormal behavior. If you have an understanding of what is normal behavior, then you will be able to identify abnormal behavior. If you have an idea about adaptive behavior, then you will be able to identify what is maladaptive behavior. It will provide some guidance for us how to deal with anxiety, stress, and life problems, or how to deal with the different types of mental illnesses. To understand other people. So, we as a health professionals, we come across with other professionals like doctors and physiotherapists or technicians, etc. So, not only them, we come across patients, their family members, politicians. We get in interaction with the other persons apart from patients as well. So, we need to have an understanding about the human behavior on as a whole and the differences in their behaviors, their interests, abilities, how each person reacts, their customs, traditions, values, beliefs, group dynamics. And this knowledge is acquired from the psychology subject. Whatever knowledge we acquire and information we get from the psychology subject, we try to utilize it in our settings, different settings, to provide quality care to the patient. That's what I have discussed, so that we will be able to understand the patient's behavior well and use different methods or ways of approaching them, teach them regarding different coping strategies and how they can bring about some modification in their behaviors. Help patients adjust to the situations. So when we say situations, it might be the settings as well as health conditions. For example, if a patient has undergone any major surgery, he needs to remain in hospital for a prolonged period of time. So which is a different setting. He need to undergo some surgery, means an invasion, a foreign body invading into his body. He might be new to the settings, new to the people, so which causes a lot of stress. Maybe some organ is removed from his body, he loses, and that causes a lot of stress. It needs a special coping. So we as a nursing personnel need to deal with the different kinds of situation, and if a nurse is trained in psychology, she can be an effective health educator, helping the patient with different kinds of adjustments, and sometimes also helping some patients who are having some learning disabilities, physically challenged or mentally challenged, where they need a lot of adjustments. Next, coming to help the student nurses to the necessity of changing the environment and surroundings. So, student nurses. Now, as a student nurses, we come from different areas. We just get into the college as a fresher, which might cause a lot of homesickness, and we need to adjust to different places, with climate, settings, etc. So, going through this psychology subject will help us to adapt to the climate with a better adjustment and making ourselves happy, cooperating with the others, and just maintaining an emotional stability in whichever situation we face. That is one aspect. Helps for effective studying. Now, in psychology, it's not only about behavior. Some aspects I have mentioned, like we will be discussing about thinking, memory, learning, intelligence, aptitudes, attitudes. All these things will be discussed in psychology. So when you come across this topic learning, it helps us like what is learning, some of the effective ways of improving your memory, how best you can learn, what methods can be used, how health influences our learning, etc. So having an idea or an information regarding all this will help the nurses for effective studying. Next, coming to readjustment. Every profession and career requires readjustment. So, as already mentioned, overcoming homesickness or adjusting to the hospital environment as well as hostel environment, adjusting to sick persons, the patients who may cry, who may shout, who may get frustrated, ventilate their anger, who may abuse nurses, and who may express their happiness when after getting cured. So we as a nursing personnel need to adjust to all these emotions, different types of emotions which we come across in our clinical settings. So having a knowledge about psychology will help the nurse to adjust herself, to modify her behavior, to understand about her strengths as well as weakness, at the same time help others. So these are all some of the important aspects, like important things which psychology can help us with. And this is a very important question which is asked every time, like what is importance of psychology for nurses. So how it is useful to have this knowledge regarding psychology. I hope this video will be helpful for you all. Thank you all very much for listening to me. We will get back shortly with the methods of studying psychology, and we will just have a quick look at various methods. As we said, like in our previous video, we said like psychology is studied nowadays by doing experiments, or it is a scientific study of an individual. So we'll go through that. Thank you all very much. Bye for now.